we have these natural needs, or whether it be certain nutrients or calories or whatever. And going back, 100 or so years or more, there was a shortage of those. Today, you say, well, it's a different situation where you say, well, these natural cravings can also work to our detriment, and in
Yeah.
addition to our benefit. You say, well, food addiction and things like that, where you're like, hey, these things, and you can't get away from it with food, which we need food to live, but then we can
Yeah.
also overeat, and so yeah, we can be craving two cheeseburgers, but is that to our detriment? But when we talk about the microbiome, I, I was going back and look at some of my earlier posts, from 6 months ago. I learned, I came across something about the gut virome. And so, the gut inside of each of our GI tracts, we have about 100 trillion viruses. So, if we had 100 trillion drops of water, we'd fill 2,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And so, when we talk about the microbiome, we think about bacteria and yeast and things like that, but there's this whole other dark universe of viruses in our gut, of which most are unidentified. And you keep digging in layer after layer, you find one more layer to
Mhm.
to,
Hmm.
to,
Well, they
to
have
think about
obelisks
here.
now. You know about obelisks, right?
Yeah,
Which are the RNA particles that they just
yeah,
thought were trash. Meanwhile, they're actively communicating and signaling, and they might be immune modulators, like many of the viruses they think
They
are.
probably are immune modulators. I mean, Blake, to
I,
your specific
yeah.
point, phages, so viruses that infect bacteria, there are a lot of positive benefits
Mhm.
from viral infections of bacteria in the human ecosystem, of the gut human ecosystem. This is something that is absolutely maturing in the science. Hard to study. But you're absolutely right about that. The virome is, again, we talk about that. We throw this stuff around, like it's such a topological statement. We say microbiome, and really it's like it's deeper than the Marianas Trench. It's blacker. It's more obscure than dark energy. We have no clue what's going on really yet
Right.
with the relational structure of it. What are they talking to each other about? Guilds, and
that's
it's no
right.
longer just about a single taxa. It's like you got to talk about the relationship in there
Yeah.
now.
And well,
That,
see, the thing that's amazing to me is Dr. Zhao at Rutgers. I met him years ago, and I think he said he was on the Time magazine cover in 2005, and he was talking about, he was the one that coined the term guilds to begin with. He was talking about guild relationships even back then, because he believed, as he found these clusters of communities, that they had to work together, because he found small evidence back then of metabolites that had to go in succession through the guilds. And he's still talking about it, except that now he's on targeted prebiotics more, and he's finding that a fiber is not a fiber is not a fiber is not a resistant starch is not a resistant starch. And he's really targeting on, oh, we really need to diversify. See, I had the fortunate chance of sitting next to him after listening to him speak at an IFT meeting one time, a local one, and we were eating dinner, and I was talking to him, and he had his plate full of all these greens, like, and just a little bit of everything type of plate, right? And he said he was very overweight at one point, and he started to get bad health markers and everything. And he said he went back to traditional Chinese diet with all of the wild weeds and greens that he could get. So he was doing a lot of dim sum type eating, but just focused on the greens and the fruits and things. And he said all this weight just came off, and all his markers went away. And that's when he put it together. He said, ah, there's something more here, you know? And of course now
Well,
he's a leading authority on it. It's much more complex. And I think maybe a part of him, because of the Asian tradition, was thinking a little bit about TCM and Ayurvedics, because it's just part of our culture to be raised in thinking about, oh, have a little bit of this and this and this, not overdo any one thing.